Oh, this feels all too familiar.
Clear for takeoff, man.
Awesome, thank you. Oh, I gotta say, these controls are these feel more like mid controls than forward controls, and I do remember that being a thing on the Low Rider S. But after riding so many cruisers since then, this feels a little awkward, I gotta say. And if you're a tall guy on this Low Rider S, yeah, this is gonna be I would think this is gonna be a factor, because I'm 5'6" and my inseam's about 30 inches, and you can see my legs are up here, right up here by the tank. But welcome to my review of the 2020 Low Rider S. Whoop! Thought that guy was turning in, my bad. And this bike has always been one of my favorites when we're talking about the Low Rider S. And when they took it away, talking about the Dyna version, I was so disappointed. But they brought it back as a Softail, and right off the bat, I gotta say, it does feel considerably different. Like I said before, these controls, they feel like they were built for a shorter person. This riding position is comfortable. Very low ride height, obviously it's called the Low Rider, and so we're flat footing it here easily. Again, my inseam's 30 inches, I'm about 5'6", and this position here with my hands is very, very comfortable. You got the little mini speed screen here. I don't know how good that's going to be for deflecting much of anything, but it's definitely a style choice, and I like it. The seat here, and I will say this, that the seat is much more comfortable than the previous Low Rider seat. Much more, you know, it feels more like a gel seat almost. So very comfortable, very well balanced bike. Again, you would expect that from a bike that sits so low to the ground. I do like that they've blacked everything out to start with. I know that you had the like chrome gas cap and the fuel gauge cap on the original Low Rider, which didn't make any sense to me because it was like a totally blacked out bike. But style wise, you know, they've done a good job. Initially, I wasn't in love with the look of the new Low Rider S, but it's grown on me, and you know, I like it. I do like it. I'm not in love with it, you know, like I was before with the previous version of the Low Rider S, but I do like this bike a lot. So yeah, it's got the 114 cubic inch Milwaukee 8 engine. I know that there are a lot of people who don't like it, but I am not one of those people. I'm going to test the lean angle for the first time here. It's about 30-degree lean angle. On both sides on this bike. And yeah, this very torquey. I like it. So you got standard Harley controls. You got the blinker on both sides, or the turn signal on both sides here. You got the horn and the low lights and high beams on the left, and on the right you got your hazards, your power and ignition switch. Now, I know that the previous Low Rider, well, at least as far as I can remember, had standard cruise control, and we don't have cruise control on this bike. Ooh, yeah. Very confident in that turn. Woo! Yeah, you can whip this bike around. It handles very nicely. Shifting is nice and smooth. I'm a big fan. Gonna get into this turn here. Probably could have taken it a little wider. But yeah, the lean angle on here is nice. Very nice. You know, 30 degrees is plenty. And I didn't feel like I was even getting close to scraping on that turn. And I actually probably could have taken that turn even a little faster than I did. So I didn't regret not taking the wide turn like I should have. I'm gonna try and keep it within the speed limit here because I have seen people being pulled over. Which is kind of scary on a demo ride, right? You don't want to get pulled over on a demo ride. Careful. But yeah, I am loving this bike and everything about it. Again, this is perfect for me. I'm comfortable riding in this way with my knees up, but I know that for taller guys, they're going to maybe have a hard time being in this position. I'm sure you can get a conversion kit to put your forward controls on here if you want, or you can put you know, an engine guard so you can have a place to put your feet if you're on a long trip. But I mean, this bike doesn't have, I mean, this is just the toggle through to get to your different options here on the digital panel on your gauge. But it doesn't have cruise control, so I mean, that's another option that you'd have to add. The price of this bike, I believe, is lower than the original Low Rider was. So I mean, there is that. But I mean, in classic Harley fashion, if you want, you know, this thing decked out, which was what the Low Rider was before, was, you know, you got a ton of options baked into the price. And this is not the same case with this bike. This feels like the Low Rider. You know, it's, you know, got mods to make it all blacked out and to be the Low Rider S as far as style goes, but you're not getting the extras like you did. I mean, you do have the telescoping inverted front forks, which is similar to the old Low Rider S. But it just surprises me a little bit that there's no cruise control. Again, dual disc brakes up the front and in back. I'll have to check the specs, and if you want more specs, I'll put the link to full specs for this bike in the description. But I believe that ABS is on this, comes on this bike. Again, if it doesn't, again, it's kind of another strike for me on this bike. But as far as, you know, as far as complaints go or nitpicking this bike, this is a fun bike to ride. This has always been one of my favorites, the Low Rider S, and it's no different. I will say though, because the pegs are so close to you, when you go up to put your feet on the pegs, my very first time I kicked, I don't know if you can see me, I did that. And I've done that a couple times. You know, that's one of those things where after a while you just learn where they are and it's fine. But again, for a taller guy, you're gonna have your knees up here to get there. But we're winding down this ride, very smooth shifting on this bike, and that's kind of how I've noticed all of the new models since they switched to the all Softail lineup and they got rid of the Dyna. Shifting is not so clunky, it's very smooth and I like it.
Flashback.
But guys, as always, if you have any questions about this bike that I did not address during the ride, make sure you leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer. This is the 2020 Harley-Davidson Low Rider S, and I would definitely recommend this bike for fans of the Low Rider S. But again, if you ride a Harley, you kind of know that you're gonna drop some more money into this bike that isn't already that you're not already spending. So again, there's always that to consider, but as far as style, as far as the ride itself, I would recommend this bike. It definitely feels a little more too like this tank is sloping upwards, which to me is kind of nice because as I'm riding, I can see the gauges much better than when it felt like the tank was a little bit flatter here. And when I had my head up, I would have to drop my head down just to see the speedometer, which is a kind of a general thing that you accept with a Harley-Davidson. But again, I'm just putting that out there. We're gonna end this review right here. We're back at the Long Beach Convention Center for the International Motorcycle Show put on by Progressive. But guys, if you like this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up down there, which is the like button. And if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button. Guys, if you're out there riding, be safe. And if you're not riding, get riding. I'm that one guy, and I am out.